All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great episode on your favorite political talk show, The Truth, with Ben Jokes. Now, the failure of the TINUBU administration continues to worsen. It is less than 5 days to Christmas, and the country is drowning in tears, pain, and sorrow. Indeed, when the righteous rules, the people rejoice, but when evil men are in charge, all hell is let loose. That is the current situation in Nigeria. On Wednesday, a stampede in Oyo State claimed the lives of 35 children. And what was the cause of the stampede? The children of the Islamic High School in Bashorun, Ibadan, were having a festive party, and as soon as it was time to share rice, the party turned upside down. Everyone began rushing and fighting for rice, and that resulted in the loss of 35 children. This isn't the first time they are organizing such a party. But the poverty of the TINUBU regime completely changed the narrative this time around. Another case of stampede took place in Okija community, Anambra State, just hours ago. More than 15 people have already lost their lives in the Anambra Stampede Tragedy. This is no longer funny. The country is dying for real. Every iota of hope is lost. That is why people are going all in for rice, and they are paying the ultimate price. And few hours ago, another heavy tragedy came out of the F.C.T. And Nigerians, after hearing that, cannot believe what this country has turned into in a space of 18 months under TINUBU. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that, an update which I describe as the 2024 Christmas disgrace package for TINUBU began making the rounds. This update does not only further expose the incompetence of the TINUBU regime, it also further confirms to the world that these guys are a bunch of pathological liars. Before I show you details of the top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you these videos. The first video here is a video of Chief Kola Ologbondiyan tearing the TINUBU regime apart. See the video.
The president has constantly said it's going to be a difficult time. But bear with me, because there's light at the end of the tunnel. Of course, a lot of Nigerians are still very worried about this development. Nigerians are angry. Nigerians are hungry. And I can go on and on. But the government has also said there are a couple of things we're doing that is showing that we are in the right direction. They quote things like the external reserve. They talk about securitization of our loans and better management of our finances. Although our inflation is record high, they also talk about the issue of NEL fund. Now they are touting the issue of FAC allocation that is record high. 1.7 trillion naira was shared among the tiers of government in the last FAC of November. So some of the things that they are touting to say, in the short term, look at the gains, minimize on the pains. Is that something that resonates with you? Just playing the devil's advocate for the government.
I don't think that resonates with Nigerians, and that to me is the honest truth. It doesn't. Geoffrey, we are in Christmas. Nigerians cannot afford rice because a bag of rice is now between 100,000 and 120,000, depending on where you are buying from. They say, oh, Alhaji Dangote has shrunk the cost of petroleum products. A liter of fuel in my own area in Abuja here sells for 1,080 naira. So all the things that they are talking about has not reflected in the lives and the pockets of the ordinary Nigerians. Purchasing power is abysmally low. So people cannot even feed. It's that bad. Then if you are unlucky to be on electricity that is on band A, you are either between selling your house to buy electricity or even running away completely. And you have a government that appears so insensitive that they are not even listening, they are not talking to people. And in fact, it is strange and absolutely so that Nigerians who spoke out against military government have been so timid that they cannot even express concern to the pains that they are passing through. They can't even speak out. Sometimes I ask myself, is it the same Nigeria?
Why do you think Nigerians are not speaking out?
People are scared. People are afraid.
Scared of what?
Some people have become some people have become so hungry that they just feel that, look, let me manage my life. Whatever the government wants to do, let them go ahead and do. Let me manage my life. And Geoffrey, let me tell you, it will rub off on the election. If the political class also continue to join in this ominous silence, and they are not speaking out. Because, Nigerians are very easy to fool. They will say, oh, is it not the same people? What do you need to go and vote for? Why do you need to participate in the election? Well, they have already decided it. So, as we speak, there must be continual political education of the people.
That is it. Continuous political education of the people. We must continue to tell Nigerians that the APC is evil and they must be kicked out. Look at it. It is Christmas and Nigerians can't even afford food to eat. People have literally become beggars. And the worst case now is that those who give to beggars before are now empty themselves. Yet, TINUBU and Shettima have budgeted 723 million naira, almost 1 billion naira for just the state house foodstuffs in 2025. The money to feed them and their families and friends will be directly taken from the nation's budget while citizens starve. 723 million naira, almost 1 billion. What a disaster. And the next video here is from the presidential candidate of the SDP. See the video.
Every day will be a good day for Nigeria. But it's not a good day when the finance minister believes that the day he goes a borrowing in London is a good day for Nigeria. A good day for Nigeria will be when Nigeria goes overseas to give investment in the capital market from the excess production that we have. No minister that we had in the past will say that the day we went borrowing will be a good day.
America borrows.
America borrows from within. You borrow in your own currency. I'm not quarreling with them borrowing the currency that they issue. When you are borrowing Eurobond, borrowing the currency of other people in other capitals of the world, it's a sign of crisis. But you can do it. But you don't say it's a good day for you. If you are anemic and your neighbors come to donate blood to you, you should be grateful. But you shouldn't say that's the best day of your life because you're not supposed to be anemic in the first place. So they need to run the economy in such a way that we can generate capital for ourselves. And I think fundamentally they are uncoordinated. Even though he's supposed to be coordinator of the economy, he's uncoordinated. The thinking is uncoordinated. But if they coordinate well and they work with us as a population, we should be able to generate wealth for the country.
Let me take you up further on that. You said that Tinubu's government is battling, I mean, these are your words, a serious case of economic illiteracy. What do you make of the parameters of the 2025 budget?
It's also
2.06 million barrels per day, 75 benchmark for oil, and of course 15.81 trillion servicing, debt servicing. Then of course you have the 1,500 exchange rate. What do you make of the parameters?
The parameters that they have are a bit basic and elementary. Even in those basic and elementary parameters, they are not sincere about them. They don't want to meet them because they are unrealistic. The exchange rate that they fixed is unrealistic, given the other measures that they are taking. It's the lack of coordination that concerns me. I wish for the TINUBU 2025 budget to work. I want them to succeed. I want investors to come to Nigeria. That is my desire, even though I'm in the opposition. However, they are self-contradictory, and these contradictions would, at the end of the day, prove themselves.
You heard that. The budget is clearly an unrealistic, self-contradictory budget. And it's such a tragedy that the TINUBU regime is borrowing away the future of this country just to embezzle. The 2025 budget is a total joke of an article that is bound to take this country back many years. Because the budget is 49.7 trillion naira. It could rise to 51 to 52 trillion after it is padded by the National Assembly. And then more than half of it is going to be funded with loans. That's about 30 trillion naira loan that will be taken and embezzled. What a disaster. How is this country going to get out of this mess? Only God knows. Now let's look at details of the top stories. First of all, it's that tragic update coming out of the F.C.T. And next is that disgraceful update. And I call it TINUBU's Christmas disgrace package. Let's start by taking that tragic update from the F.C.T. Look at how the papers reported it. Stampede at Abuja church leaves many dead, others injured. A stampede at the Holy Trinity Catholic Church in the Maitama district of Abuja on Saturday morning left 10 people dead and several others injured. The incident occurred during a grocery distribution event organized by the church to support poor residents of Nigerian capital amidst Nigeria's worst cost of living crisis. The National Director of Social Communications at the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria, Mike Umar, confirmed the incident to journalists but did not disclose the number of people who died. Yes, it is true, but the details are sketchy, he said in a brief statement. Please speak. The F.C.T. Police Command, in a statement by its spokesperson, Joseph Ade, confirmed that 10 persons, including 4 children, died in the tragic incident, while 8 others were injured. The police also said 4 of those injured had been treated and discharged. This tragic event, which happened at about 6:30 a.m., led to a stampede that claimed the lives of 10 individuals, including 4 children, and left 8 others with varying degrees of injuries. 4 of the injured have been treated and discharged, while the remaining victims are receiving medical care, the statement read. Ms. Ade said that organizations organizing charitable events or large gatherings should notify the police to forestall such incidents in the future. To prevent such unfortunate incidents, the command hereby directs that all organizations, religious bodies, groups, or individuals planning any public event, charitable activity, or large gathering in the F.C.T. must notify the police command in advance. This will allow for the deployment of adequate security measures to ensure public safety, she said. But what are you going to deploy against the hunger that is running rampage in Nigeria? What are you going to deploy against the hopelessness that has taken over this country as a result of poorly thought out economic policies of this evil regime? And this tweet here by SKF Caller says, don't underestimate the poverty in the land. I am telling you, because it is very easy to blame the victims of this stampede. You just say, why can't they organize themselves? Why are they doing like that? I am telling you this because you are not faced with the kind of poverty that these guys are faced with. By the time you go to bed with hunger, you wake up, still no food to eat. You go to bed that second day. On the third day, you hear that they are sharing rice somewhere. I am telling you, you will behave like a wild animal. This takes it to about 65 people who have died of stampede in just 1 week, because the numbers coming in from the stampede in Anambra is saying about 30 to 38 people have already been lost. What a disaster. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to this, that disgraceful update began making the rounds. I call this one the 2024 Christmas disgrace package for TINUBU. They have been going about talking about the Port Harcourt Refinery to the point that Mr. Osifo, the president of TUC, came out and said, they have inspected the refinery and it is doing well. It will pick up. Now, the update making the rounds is telling us that the refinery has shut down. Look at how the papers reported it. Port Harcourt Refinery shuts down again, weeks after $1.5 billion rehabilitation, Sahara reporters. After resuming production less than a month, the Port Harcourt Refinery has ceased operations for the second time, raising concerns about the effectiveness of its $1.5 billion rehabilitation project. The shutdown was reportedly observed on Thursday, December 19, 2024, when the lifting of premium motor spirits, PMS, commonly known as petrol, stopped. Sahara reporters had also in November ending reported that the Port Harcourt Refinery shut down operation at the moment, with only its non-petroleum unit running, which is the crude distillation unit, CDU. Sahara Reporters has been monitoring developments at the refinery since Tuesday, when the NNPCL initially claimed the refinery was up and trucking out PMS to the Nigerian public. Reporters had exclusively reported that only the old section of the Port Harcourt refinery was working, and it was blending crack C5 with the naphtha and trucking it out as premium motor spirit, which some staff warned would have an effect on vehicles. The top sources had clarified to Sahara Reporters that the NNPCL came up with the idea of blending crack C5 with the naphtha from the primary units because the secondary units are not ready yet. Meanwhile, sources revealed to Punch on Saturday that loading operations at the refinery's 18-arm loading bay had been halted since Friday, December 13th, leaving the bay empty. Tankers that typically crowd the refinery's premises were seen stranded, with 18 trucks parked along the busy access road and 9 inside the parking yard. The depot, once a hobby of activity, was eerily quiet, with minimal human or vehicular movement. The 60,000 barrel per day plant, inaugurated with much fanfare on November 26, 2024 by Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited NNPCL CEO Mele Kyari, was intended to signal a new era in Nigeria's energy production. The latest shutdown has generated questions about the viability of the refinery's operations and the accountability surrounding the multi-billion-dollar rehabilitation investment. However, contrary to claims of 200 trucks being loaded, fewer than 10 trucks carried petrol that day. Shortly after NNPC Group Chief Executive Officer Mele Kyari returned to Abuja, operations reportedly reverted to inactivity. Stakeholders alleged that the petrol lifted during the reopening was old stock from the storage tanks. 3 weeks later, the loading bay was discovered to be deserted. Wow, you heard that. Now, this is just to further confirm what we had said earlier. From the very first day they began celebrating the reopening of the Port Harcourt refinery, we said it. We said it was all propaganda, because all of a sudden, you are telling us that you have reopened it. When they were talking about next year before, all of a sudden you are trying to score a cheap political point. And then there is a mistake in this report. It says $1.5 billion. It is actually over $2.2 billion that has been spent on trying to revamp that refinery. Yet, it has shut down. No activity going on. It was all a charade. As soon as Mele Kyari traveled back to Abuja, it reverted to normal. What a shame. Now, is there anything that is working? Is there anything that TINUBU has said that he has done? Just one good thing. I want somebody to just drop it in the comment section for me. Just one good thing that this regime has achieved. And don't just make the mistake of mentioning local government autonomy, because just weeks ago, local government chairman came out to cry out that since the Supreme Court passed that judgment that they now had autonomy since I think August or thereabouts, they said no shishi has been paid directly into local government accounts. And that is what the judgment actually connotes, that they now receive their money directly. They said they have not received a dime. So don't call that an achievement. It could still be propaganda for all I care. And Mass Dinero here says $1.5 billion gone and the refinery shuts down again. This is why Nigeria struggles, money disappears with no accountability, and the cycle of failure continues. Leadership without results is just noise. Who approved this mess? They all approved it, because now all of them, they share the money. And this video says the whole thing was intended to bluff Nigerians, but those with higher standards of natural wisdom, knowledge, and comprehension of the Nigerian government and criminal justice system and nature cannot be fooled. I propose that the petrol sample they claimed to be from Port Harcourt Refinery was actually made by Dangote Refinery in Lagos State. The purpose of the action was to deceive Nigerians. They are aware that most Nigerians have a poor understanding of logic and tend to accept anything without questioning. It's such a shame, and it's true. And Samuel Ajayi Crowther here says, from the genesis of the resurrection of this refinery, it was a script. I told someone that when the director is done, we'll be here. We will be here. That is it. And now it is clear. The most shameful thing was the TUC president, Mr. Osifo, somebody who is supposed to be standing for labor, coming to Arise TV to run his mouth. That refinery, everything is working well and Nigerians will benefit. What a shame. That is why there is no longer regard for the NLC, because they have been bought over by the APC. But I don't expect anything less. The APC have come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And that is why we keep telling Nigerians that for us to still have a country in the near future, we must cast aside our sentiments, unite, and kick the APC out of power. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Na I dey here, so don't go away. Don't go away.